Welcome back to another episode of the Game Language Podcast, where we deduce, dissect, and discuss video games and whether or not they speak our language. I'm Troy, and with me always is my partner in crime,
Jason.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing breezy today.
How are you doing breezy at 114 degrees or 104 degrees?
I'm breezing my way out of ever staying out in that heat. That's what I'm doing. Air conditioning in my car is going great after, you go 15 minutes.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. What you been playing lately?
Oh, man. Been playing a lot, thanks to the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Played the Splatoon 3 with its new update.
Yeah.
Been playing both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They're both incredible with the new updates. And still playing Mario Kart World. I'm getting better at the game. It is rough, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blue shells.
There's a lot of blue shells. A lot of blue shells, man. What's your build in Splatoon right now?
It's all dualies.
All dualies.
Because I just don't want to try anything else.
Yeah.
I am refusing.
Yeah.
So I'm just no. I went through the store. I bought every dualie.
Every dualie
that I can.
Yeah.
I'm only level 28, so I still have a ton to unlock. But I have 2 pages of dualies in the equipment screen, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I feel like dualies are the best.
I'm not gonna lie to you though. 80% of them look like total garbage.
Yeah,
because I'm just I'm never gonna use these. I bought them. I'm never gonna use them.
They're either. So I normally don't like too many of the abilities that come with the dualies, but I finally found. I didn't realize that you can go and spend 3 tickets to buy something that you haven't leveled up to unlock yet. So I went and got the ones that have the water balloon that I love, and then they've got a super it's okay. But all I care about is being able to dapple dually people and hit them with a water balloon to splat them at the end. So yeah, got that, and I'm going to stick on that for a while.
No, that's nice. Yeah. I'll say the Pro Controller's been a real blessing on that game.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing motion controls while also holding the controller. I have to try it because in my mind it doesn't make too much sense.
Oh, I don't use motion controls though.
Word?
Yeah, with the Pro Controller,
yeah.
I'm mostly just using it for the back paddles. Also, the greater range of motion on the joystick, my aiming is way better on Pro Controller than on the handheld with the Joy-Cons.
Damn. You have to let me borrow one of your old ones so I can try it out.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, yeah. We got the other old one.
Yeah, I'll have to try it out.
It doesn't have the paddles, though. So.
It's okay. I'll deal. I have a whole what is it called? Keybind setting for Splatoon. I've got my left click is now my jump button so that I can dodge while doing dualies, so that I don't have to take my finger off of aiming and everything. So I'm all over the place on that.
That's so crazy to me because pressing L3 and R3, probably my least favorite buttons to press is clicking in the analog stick.
But it feels so good to move this way, click, to dash that way.
See, I could see that if I wasn't playing on the Joy-Con. But, if it works for you, I'm more than happy.
But yeah, for me, what I've been playing the Switch 2, been playing Peak. Peak is a great game about you trusting your friends and trying to climb to the peak of a mountain. You're all Boy Scouts. It is a tough-ass game, but it's so fun.
Yeah, it is extremely fun. I've been playing Peak as well with you and our friends. And it is a very funny game.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So, these goofy friend games like Peak, Repo, Lethal Company. These are so much fun. I think it all started, not all started, but I have to go back to, what is the first one? Among Us. These kind of games are so goofy and fun. So, Peak's been good.
The term online is called friend slop.
Friend slop, yeah.
And you know what's funny is that, people say that derogatorily. I think it's actually positive. It's the perfect description for these games because I don't think none of these games stand on their own without friends.
Yep.
I don't think. I think Peak might be the closest just because it has a mechanic that is a gameplay mechanic that doesn't require friends, but is greatly bolstered by that. But even then, I'm I wouldn't want to climb this mountain without my homies.
I don't want to climb alone.
So I think if you have friends and you ever see a friend slop game, don't listen to haters. If you have friends, that's going to be the best experience. You're going to love it.
Yes. And all the push for proximity chat makes it all the much better.
Dude, that might be one of my favorite mechanics and implementations in these games is because it's usually environmentally affected as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing funnier than when you see your friend fall down the cave
Yes.
and you hear them shout, but it echoes because it's the cave. And so you just hear them just like, oh, shit.
And then they're just dead and you don't hear anything anymore.
Yeah, no, as soon as they die, you can't hear shit. You're just like, Matt? Matt? And then you die, and then instantly you get put into the death chat.
Yeah.
And you just hear them being like, no, because they were watching you.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, God damn it.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we've been playing a lot.
Any other games you've been playing?
Stellar Blade on PC. Got that, which is fun. Looks amazing. Responsive. I just love how much better it runs on PC versus console. So that's been fun.
I was gonna say you're because I just bought that last night, so I have 30 minutes of playtime. Not much.
Yeah.
How far are you into it?
I am a good, I want to say 5-6 hours in. I would say.
Yeah, because I think you showed me you're at the Wasteland, so
Yeah.
you're already in like the first big.
Yeah, I'm in the
open
Wasteland, but I have a habit in these kind of games where I have to do everything before I move on. So I've just been in the Wasteland listening to that same song forever.
And so that part did drone on for me for the desert, but I actually enjoyed doing all the side and like all the crap in Stellar Blade. So that's cool that it runs way better on PC.
Yeah, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, with that out of the way, let's find out what's going on in the world of gaming with our 3 bites of news stories. And we actually have it's a chunkier 3 bites. 1 bite has a little sub bite to it. So let's get started. First big news of the week. Bungie's marathon has been delayed indefinitely, and an update will be released in fall. So marathon's had a lot of problems. You know, we did have our episode, Plagiarism Will Make Me God.
Yeah.
Because of marathon's issues that they've been found with. So I guess this delay wasn't really that surprising to me. What about you? Were you like surprised to hear that marathon's not going to launch in September?
No, I was not surprised. Little sad because, you know, I always want to see them succeed, but it makes sense.
See, for me, I actually am a little happy because I think that they'll succeed better if they listen to, if they're able to deliver on the things that they said they're going to. So
Yeah.
another part with this update, the delay was announced by the company themselves in a blog post. And they talked about the things that they're going to be focusing on while they're going heads down. And the things that they want to double down on the marathon universe, make it darker. So they want to improve visual fidelity and storytelling, which is good because I don't know why they were calling it marathon. When I'm like, marathon's known for having like a deep story, like having lore, like, you know, you read data logs and stuff. It's like one of those games from the early 90s or mid 90s before Halo. So the like look and vibe of this marathon is so different. So I was always confused by that. So I'm actually a little interested to see what they'll do and what they mean when they say doubling down on that. They also did say that proximity chat will be in the game.
Oh,
which,
nice.
Thank God. That was like the number one thing that when they announced, every person that plays the survival genre was like, that is the worst idea you can do for this genre. Because I don't really play too much survival games. They're not really or extraction shooters. They're not really my cup of tea. But when I went and researched this and tried to find out, like, what is it about this extraction shooters that people love? People love the dynamic storytelling, which comes from player interaction. There's a lot of times where people make, like, standoffs, and they're just like, we could kill each other. You could just let me go.
Yeah.
And, like, that's cool. I actually like that a lot and the idea of that. And so I'm glad that Marathon's allowing those types of stories to happen in it because they couldn't happen before. Because when you ran into someone, they were just a nameless character that has a red hostile icon, and you needed to shoot them.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. But other than that, yeah, they're just trying to. They were just saying that they're going to do that, and then like another. I think there's also. I still think that it still needs to find its hook. That makes it like unique, but who knows? But I do think the delay is actually good. I think Bungie needs this time to cook.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. But on to the next bit of news. This one's pretty funny. Well, a bit sad and a bit funny. Nexus Mods, after 24 years, is finally being sold by its creator to another company. Sad day, because this is my favorite mod site currently. It's pretty much the only mod site I trust not to give me something nasty on my computer.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit depressed by this news, just because I'm like, oh no, you never know when it's sold to a venture capitalist company what they're going to do with it. Mm-hmm. Now, since this story did come out, the new owner, who they won't disclose who it is saying, hey, we're not going to try and like over monetize it. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, yeah, but what do you mean by over monetize?
No.
So, we'll see. But as a sub story to this that I did find funny, because there's a game that we both just talked about on PC that's pretty popular on Nexus Mods called Stellar Blade.
Yeah.
Well, Stellar Blade also became PlayStation's #1 fastest selling game on the platform, which I find pretty crazy. A lot of people talked shit about Stellar Blade.
Yeah.
And the PC audience, they said PC players don't buy games. Well, you're wrong. they bought that one.
Yeah.
They just don't like Last of Us. Sorry. So, no, I did think that was pretty funny. But congratulations to Shift Up for that.
Yeah.
Because it's a good port. I've only played 30 minutes, but, dude, no stutters.
Yeah, it runs butter smooth.
Yeah. But last bit of news, this one's related to Splatoon. A Splatoon spin-off game just got announced on a random Tuesday called Splatoon Raiders, which was announced alongside the Switch 2 update. We don't know too much about this game other than it's not mainline, and it follows the Off the Hook crew. I think that's the name of them. Mm-hmm. It's the one from Splatoon 3, the Shiver, Fry, and Big Man. So, wondering what they're going to do with it. It'd be cool if it's like an adventure game, because I think Splatoon's like traversal mechanics and stuff could actually work in that better than how it's currently with like level, like the way they do like the level design setup. The levels are good, but they're just, I'm like, this series could actually do like semi-open world regions, and I think they could do it really well.
I agree.
So, but yeah, that's going to be it for the news. I'm going to turn it over to you, brother.
Yes, yeah, of course. So now we're going to get into our variety game. It's still the same game for now, and we've got a pending name, cover art as seen by my wife. It's a game where I show my wife cover art with no text on it, and she tells me what she thinks is who they are and what's going on in the cover art, and it's for you to guess what it is. Okay?
I love these.
Yeah, these ones she did are pretty good. So let's start off with the first one. Now, there is I'll give you one hint. There is an overarching theme in all of these. Okay? So keep that in mind. I won't tell you what the theme is, but there is one. This one is, this has to be a game that shares its name with a famous Beyonce song. But I also don't know. So I'll give you Sad Soldier in the Rain.
Sad Soldier in the Rain?
Yes.
Is this Metal Gear Solid?
No.
Ground Zeroes?
No, I'll give you one more guess. Think you've talked something about this universe in this episode so far. Okay? I'll say it again. This has to be that game that shares its name with a famous Beyonce song. But I also don't know. So I'll give you Sad Soldier in the Rain.
Oh. I wish I knew more Beyonce songs besides all the single ladies.
Do you want me to give you the answer?
Yeah.
All right. It's the Halo ODST cover art with like the ODST soldier like looking up in the rain.
And Halo.
Yeah, you talked about Halo, so yeah,
good one. That's a good one.
All right, here we go. Junkrat pointing two fingers to his temple with his brain.
Borderlands.
Yeah. With brain cheese coming out. I was like, with what? With brain cheese coming out. Yeah, it's Borderlands.
Brain cheese. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Beach vacation gone wrong. One man in timeout with his head in the sand while the guy with a mohawk and a gun guards him.
Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good description. I like that.
Timeout. I was like, when I read that, I'm like, he is in timeout. Voss always put us in timeout.
Made us listen to his
Yeah.
Insufferable speeches
Yeah,
about
yeah.
insanity.
Yeah. We got reprimanded by Voss all the time. All right. Someone took a photo of a soldier on a battlefield walking towards us while an explosion goes off behind him and then used an awful Instagram sepia filter. You want it again?
Sure.
Someone took a photo of a soldier on a battlefield walking towards us while an explosion goes off behind him and then used an awful Instagram sepia filter.
Is that Battlefield 4?
No. I'm not giving you a second guess on this one, honestly, because this one you should have got.
Oh, okay.
Okay? It's Modern Warfare 3.
I mean, in fairness, I haven't seen a Call of Duty box art since it's Modern Warfare 2 on the Xbox 360. I don't give a shit about those cover arts. But that was a great description.
Now, have you seen the through line in these yet? Have you gotten the idea?
They all seem like Xbox games.
That's not what I was going for, but all right, last one. Little soldier on top of big soldier's gun, like a little Russian doll of sorts, arriving at a floating island.
What?
Little soldier on top of a big soldier's gun, like a little Russian doll of sorts, arriving at a floating island.
Is it Titanfall?
Yes,
Nice.
It is Titanfall.
Hell yeah.
Nice job. Yeah, so I went for a bunch of like older first-person shooter games that were not the most popular. Well, they were all really popular, but they're the ones that like you have good fond memories with. I feel like I had really fond memories with ODST. It was like really hard to play that game compared to like the standard Halos because you get in a fight with an elite and it was too tough. I remember Modern Warfare 3 was such a good time. Far Cry, Titanfall, the first Titanfall, like so much fun. Or I think this Titanfall 2's cover. But either way, yeah, first-person shooters that have good vibes.
That's why I felt the Xbox vibes too.
But there you go. That is cover art as seen by my wife. You
I
did
love
good.
that
You got a lot of those right. Good job.
Yeah, I missed two, but yeah, she did great.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep doing that.
I love it.
All right.
Well, with that, so we're going to get into impressions.
Mm-hmm.
And the big thing that happened this week was Donkey Kong Bananza.
Yeah.
They did a 17-minute direct recently. And I'm not going to lie to you. My reaction and the internet's reaction was, holy shit, that direct was good.
Mm-hmm.
In comparison, everyone keeps comparing it to the Mario Kart World Direct we got in April, and everyone's like, man, that one was shitty. I was expecting this one to suck ass too.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
No, I think that this direct was got me extremely hyped for the game because I was questionable. It's kind of interesting because I started off completely fully believing in Mario Kart. I was like, Mario Kart is going to be my Switch 2 game. I'm never going to stop playing it. That's it. Then I've liked it, but the blue shells have, put the game on pause. And then I see this trailer and I'm like, damn, Donkey Kong looked kind of good. Like, this looks like Donkey Kong Odyssey. Like, I want to play this. So, yeah, I might be flip-flopped where I actually like Donkey Kong a lot more than I thought and Mario Kart a lot less than I thought.
Yeah, it is funny that Mario Kart, the blue shell, might be the worst video game villain in all of video games. I don't know anyone who's hurt me personally as much. Ganondorf, I'm like, what? You've killed me maybe 3 or 5 times. Bowser, whatever. But blue shells, man, that is a constant thorn in my side.
Yeah, blue shell is the exact opposite of getting a medal for doing well. It is like, hey, you're doing so good, you should stop.
Blue shell is the equivalent to corporate giving you more work for being a good employee.
Yeah, definitely.
But it is funny how Donkey Kong Bonanza, like when I first saw it announced for the Switch 2 Direct, I was losing my fucking mind.
Yeah.
I've been wanting 3D Donkey Kong since Donkey Kong 64. I am a huge fan of DK. But the thing that was weird is that everyone went hands-on at a lot of these Switch 2 events. Mario Kart continued to keep its like positive feedback. But Donkey Kong started to have negative. There were a lot more people that are like, I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know how this is going to work out or shape up. And so I felt like hype for the game really kind of like teetered downwards And then it is funny to see, like, ever since they did this direct, the hype's like higher than Mario Kart. It actually passed Mario Kart's World's direct views.
Yeah. I wonder what they had access to. I didn't follow enough people when they were out doing the hands-on with the Switch 2, just because I wanted to keep myself surprised.
Yeah.
But they probably didn't see his transformations. They probably didn't get to see the skill tree. There's got to be a ton of stuff that they didn't see, because that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, I think listening to them and listening to people that have, like, who reacted to the direct after, who have played it, they do talk about that. They're like, yeah, like, so first things first, they revealed pretty early on that DK's got a new partner, and it's Pauline, which is pretty awesome because everyone loves Pauline from Super Mario Odyssey. She, ever since Odyssey, she's been in, like, every sports game now, which she never was before. And so I think that, like, helped out. Everyone loves seeing DK with the tiny Pauline. But I do think that helped because everyone got to play before that. No one knew about Pauline. So I do wonder if, like, maybe they were showcasing the game in a less than optimal way by, like, you know, hiding such a core mechanic, which is good because the surprise was there for this direct. But I do wonder if it gave people, like, worse impression of the game than if they had known she was in it and had access to her abilities.
Yeah.
But overall thoughts, I do love this direct. We're going to break down the highlights of it. But what did you think of the direct yourself?
So overall, the direct was really it was really cool. So I liked how there was no fluff or anything. Obviously, it's all about one game, so they're just going to dive in, talk about the different mechanics. I like how it was presented. I think that music was a really big focus of the direct, which is a big focus of the game. There's a couple times in the direct where I got chills because of the combination of visuals and music that they chose to go for. I think that they're going for a very emotionally impactful game, and that's shown through in the direct. I think that they went over so many of the mechanics, but in a way where I'm still excited to play the game. Sometimes you watch a direct or watch a showcase on a game, you see everything about the game, you're like, okay, I've seen everything now, and I don't know if I'm that excited. But somehow, I think they gave me just a little bit of everything to get me excited, except for the Bananza modes. The Bananza modes I'm a little iffy on. That's about it. But overall, the direct, its presentation, how they gave us the information, what they showcased, I'm like 9 out of 10, man. It was very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine's a little bit. Very close, 9 out of 10. A little bit more. I feel like they made this direct for me because what you were saying, like the emotional aspect of it, the emotional impact. I was getting hit all the time listening to all these great Donkey Kong songs. Yeah, and to be honest, Donkey Kong's like the god tier music, video game music. Yeah. Like when you get Jungle Japes going, you're just like, oh yeah. And then the DK rap and like just everything that they were playing, and then also like Pauline sings, which obviously Jump Up Superstar, one of my favorite songs ever.
But she's adding vocals to songs that never had vocals, right?
Yeah. She did the original Donkey Kong Country theme and was adding that. And I was like, I'm getting chills now. I'm like, dang, like Donkey Kong fucking Country. Like you guys are finally adding like lyrics to this. This is insane. And I also just think it's really cool that they are taking advantage of all these songs. Because one of the things with Donkey Kong that's been weird is that there's a Nintendo side and a Rare side. And Rare, if you don't know, they're the company that made Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong 64. And they led the charge on his redesign. Because when he was originally designed in the arcade, Donkey Kong kind of looks terrible. I don't really like his original design on the arcade. I think he looks great for a sprite. But when you look at his actual like cartoonishness back then, it's like the Jumpman, like Mario's original design. I don't think it's that good compared to what it is now. But they redesigned DK for this one, but they kept a lot of the Rare elements. But I was a bit worried that they would try to like distance themselves from Donkey Kong Country because they kind of have tried to. I don't feel like Donkey Kong's ever gotten as much spotlight as he deserves since his Rare games took off more than the Nintendo ones did.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can see that there's no bad blood because this team loves whatever Rare did. I mean, to be honest, this game feels like Banjo 3.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like Donkey Kong. It does, but like I got so many Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie vibes that I'm like, this feels like if I actually got a modern Banjo 3, Banjo-Kazooie 3, which I love. I love that so much. Like all the characters from the shops, they're just signs with eyes. I'm like, this is rare.
Yeah,
this
very,
is so
very,
rare-coded.
very rare.
But I really loved how they edited and brought this together. But let's get into what they actually showed. What'd you think of Pauline being the like reveal?
So it's bittersweet because I love Diddy Kong, and Diddy Kong's normally Donkey Kong's partner. So like when we got the Rock dude, I was like, all right. And then we got Pauline, who's like a teenager when she's normally an adult. I'm like, they put Pauline in here because they know Pauline is popular. So I respect it, but I'm a Diddy Kong fan. So it was a little saddening because I just see his ass sitting behind a desk.
He also rides Rambi.
He also
with his girlfriend.
Yeah. So I'm like, I see Diddy Kong and them over there. I'm like, y'all got sidelined for Pauline.
He got sidelined because someone else with his name is under some serious allegations right now. Diddy's catching strays.
Poor little guy.
He's probably, he hates baby lotion.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
But yeah, no, I see why they went with Pauline. I'm not. I do love Pauline's music. Not a. How do I say this? It's not that I'm not a fan of her at all. I think that what she's going to add to the game is going to be insane. As somebody who loves music, I think that this game is going to hit on so many levels, and there's no better character to have there if you're trying to focus on how do we marry gameplay and music. Let's take our most musically inclined character currently and make her DK's partner. Like make a lot of the things she does, like the singing she does, affect gameplay. So I get it. I'm with it. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna love it. I'm just gonna be bitter. It's just gonna be bittersweet. I'm gonna wipe a tear away every time I see Diddy just sitting there, Diddy Kong sitting there. I'm like, could have been us, buddy, but this adventure is not for you, bro. I'll see you later.
Yeah, no, I am sad that it's not Diddy, but I do think Pauline's the better choice if they're going for more heart into the story because it does. A lot of people have been like comparing it to Wreck-It Ralph.
It is
with like
the
imagery, and I agree. I'm like, yeah, I can see the vibes and the heart, because again, with the music already like hitting emotional moments, and even though the voice acting is like cringy, I'm like, this is like a kid's movie but made as a video game.
Damn, I must be weird. I did not think her voice acting was cringy. I mean,
cringy's the wrong word. It's a little cheesy.
It's cheesy, but whoever they got as her voice, I actually was thinking while watching, I'm like, her voice is extremely unique.
Yeah.
So they made sure that the one person who's going to actually talk is going to be fun to listen to.
Yeah. I was going to say, I like Pauline's voice because it's the same voice actress, I believe, who's been doing it since Odyssey.
Yeah? Damn, she sounds just like a kid.
Yeah, she's doing a really good job of sounding like a much younger Pauline. But I think because she's singing, they kept the same one. Because her singing does sound the same as Jump Up Superstar to me, at least, so far. But again, that's analysis from background music where there's talking over it. Yeah. So if it's not the same person, don't shoot the messenger. I'm terrible at analysis, I guess. But if I'm right, then I told you. But yeah, I do love the voice acting, which is another thing I wanted to talk about. How do you feel about them? Like, really, it feels like they're going way more story focused with this game. Yeah. There seems to be a lot of cutscenes.
Yeah, it seems like there's going to be a lot of cutscenes. I'm hoping that the whole like Nintendo doesn't do narratives like can be thrown out the window. You know, I would love for this to be a game that's full of that's a heartfelt adventure that sits with me and makes me remember it, for a very long time. I think that everything that Nintendo does visually already does that, so why not have the story do it also? I'm hoping for the best with their story. It already has been sold to me as something that's going to have a good or at least a heartfelt story.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I wanted to ask. So it's kind of a mechanic heavy game.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. So kind of go over what are some of the things that you liked from what they were talking about with the skill trees and like the transformations, all that stuff.
So that stuff excites me. I was really surprised at how in depth they're going with it. I didn't expect the skill tree.
Yeah. I saw the skill tree and I sat up. I'm like, what? A skill tree?
A skill tree?
A skill tree?
You don't say.
Outfits that affect your stats? Okay.
So the outfits was another huge part that I was like, dang, okay. The Odyssey team definitely made this, is how it feels. That or it's like, branched off with like half the development team or something, because it just has that vibe. It does feel like we're going on a huge adventure. And like with the photo mode and stuff, I'm like, this game, it's Donkey Kong Odyssey.
Yeah, this game is feature rich, man.
Yeah. But talking about like mechanics, which is part of the richness of the features, I was surprised at how much they're going in with like how they're differentiating punching. They actually have all the face buttons punch or do different things with punching. So if you press like the top button X, it's a upwards punch. B is a downwards punch. Y is the standard punch. And I'm just like,
what?
Wow, we're actually going like that. And then like when you get through the skill tree, you have jumping, like a ground pound punch that'll let you dig through the ground. I really, really love the way that movement looks. The way that he seamlessly goes from rolling to jumping to dashing and rolling again. Woo! Yeah. I was sitting there, I was just like, oh, this looks better than like rolling and jumping in Odyssey.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it, to be
Dude,
honest.
Yeah. To kind of touch on that, I think the first thing whenever I saw Donkey Kong Bananza, I thought movement looked good, but I didn't know it looked this good. It looks like you can still do roll jumps to like roll off of ledges and get a further jump. The old DK mechanic. It seems that like climbing is extremely seamless and fast.
Yeah, it's like Breath of the Wild on crack.
Yeah. So I don't even think there's a stamina when you climb, is there?
No.
Yeah. So we're gonna have like quite a bit of range of movement in this game. So I'm excited. I wonder how this DK is going to interact with 2D stages.
Because they look good.
Yeah, they all look good. They look good.
Yeah, there's a lot of like they showed the mine cart, which I was like, oh, thank you. I needed the mine carts. But then they also showed Sticker Brush Symphony Bramble Brash, the background, all remade in 3D. I was like, if I get Sticker Brush Symphony with lyrics, I might actually cry.
It'll be a jump up superstar moment. Going in more into the mechanics, how do you feel about like the ability to rip chunks off of everything and the fact that different types of materials have different effects?
So I love that part.
Yeah.
I've actually always been a little bit more less enthused about the destruction mechanic than most people, I think. That doesn't really ever excite me that much, the way that they're doing it. Like, I know a lot of people always reference like Red Faction.
Yeah.
I never played that game.
I was just about to ask, you never played Red Faction?
I never played Red Faction. Because for me, like, I really prefer level design. Like, I love it when someone designs a track for me.
Yeah.
And I have the fear. Obviously, we haven't played it, so I can't say this. And the way it looks doesn't give me fear that it's going to be bad because the levels look incredible. But I'm always worried about level design.
I absolutely understand.
When you just destroy everything, because I'm like, how are you going to make cool jumps if I can break the jump?
Yeah. Why put it there if the likeliness of it being destroyed is so abundant? Like, most people are going to break through everything. So is everything going to be just sort of there to be broken down? Therefore, it's just mound after mound? Or are they going to be like well-designed areas that feel fun to explore and feel handcrafted?
Yeah. And I think it'll feel more like the handcrafted just from what we've seen. But that is a potential fear I have of the game, is that I'm going to be just smashing too much.
Yeah.
But my fear was assuaged when I saw him tossing, like, making bridges out of, like, sand. I'm like, are you kidding? I was like, okay, I know I'm going to have to get some banandiums by making bridges. It's Death Stranding, Kong edition.
Yeah, I was at first, like with you, I was kind of thrown off. about how destructive everything was and if anything was going to matter. But seeing him build the bridges, I saw one of the puzzles. He threw an explosive chunk at a ground. It blew up, and all these like mines that were rolling down got caught up in the like hole. And so I like the concept of having that much freedom with Donkey Kong, because you've heard me criticize Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom before for this same type of thing where you kind of have the creative freedom to solve puzzles. But because of the way you're going to be destroying the environment, it seems a little bit more interesting than just throwing like a hodgepodge of stuff together to get through certain things. So we'll see. I mean, I'm on the more positive side for it so far.
Yeah, I've become more positive after this direct.
Yeah.
But when I first saw it, that was one of the initial things that I was like,
Yeah.
I like punching, but I don't like especially when I heard the criticisms that people were like, yeah, I started to get a headache because all I do is smash stuff. And I'm like, man, if that is what I'm doing for 10 hours, I'm going to get really
you might get a headache and be like,
I
returned to monkey.
For real. But it looks way more thought out and designed. So I'm looking forward to that. But moving on to the next like crazy mechanic that I think is on the same level of like destruction. Transformations.
Yeah.
Bonanza mode. So people notice from like other footage, it does seem like there's more than the 3 that we know of. So I am happy that they didn't spoil it all. But they did show us 3 modes. Kong Bonanza, Zebra Bonanza, and oh yeah, Ostrich Bonanza. I will say this as another note on the edit and the style of this direct. The announcer was hilarious. Yeah. He reminded me of like a 90s cartoon announcer. I loved it.
The announcer was hilarious. I think that the name Ostrich Bonanza, Zebra Bonanza, those names are so dumb.
They are stupid.
They are so dumb.
I like Bonanza.
Yeah.
Like I think that's such a fun way to, throw banana in there.
Yeah.
And make like a big bonanza. But yeah, hearing Zebra Bonanza, Ostrich Bonanza, I'm just like, this is the most forced way to utilize your title. Just call it Ostrich mode. Oh, bro, what do you think about the Bananergy? That's what they call it when you're getting your energy for your moves. It's Bananergy.
It's like every time I hear one of those words, like somebody from Nintendo is like just giving me that little like shoulder bump, like,
Get it? It's bananas.
Yeah, Bananergy. You see how he put that in there? Yeah, I get it.
But other than the poor naming convention, what do you think of the modes?
The modes are cool. So I'm weird in the sense that I think Donkey Kong actually looks really cool in this game, but when he turns into those modes, he looks really goofy. Now, when he's in the big Kong Bonanza mode, I actually liked it a lot. Yeah, it looks like an evolution of him. Zebra Bonanza, stupid. Stupid. Fucking so stupid looking. And so is Ostrich Bonanza, dumb looking. Both of them, they look goofy as hell. Maybe I'll find the charm in them in the future, but I always get a little like butthurt when my cool character gets a transformation. They look dumb as hell. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at Luffy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he just looks dumb. So I'm like gonna hate it when I use it because I'm just like, I'm a stupid ass fucking gorilla zebra running across water, I guess, or fucking Zebra Bonanza. Let's go. Like I'm gonna hate on it a little bit, but I get over it.
I would say I really liked the Kong Bonanza.
Kong Bonanza is tight.
He looks tight, especially since when you do a wind-up punch, it leaves a fireball that continues to destroy the world. I'm like, man.
And his banana braids or his banana dreads.
Mm-hmm. That shit looks sick. And he's caked up on a Wednesday. Just gigantic cheeks just bent out there, just like.
I want Baboon Bonanza.
Baboon Bonanza. But he that one looks cool. I think so. I'm a big fan of the Bonanza transformations because I think it's I like it better than capturing in Mario Odyssey because I like it's more tied to abilities that you can control instead of being like, oh, what's near me. So I like that aspect of it, and I like that you can freely switch between them. They even showed that during a boss battles they will require you to shift between all 3 forms and probably more. So I'm really excited on a gameplay level. Now, visually, I'm right there with you. But I will say, for me, Ostrich Bonanza is the one that irritates me the most because he has hands for wings.
Oh.
But the zebra looks so stupid, but it makes me laugh. Yeah. So I'm like, when he's sitting there running bipedal as a zebra across the water, I'm just like, this is just so absurd. I can't help but chuckle at it.
To me, it's like we're splicing animal DNA.
Yeah. It's just, in fairness, a lot of it is just like so unexpected for a game about a gorilla.
There.
But last couple things from the Direct. So, what was the other things? Oh, dude. So one thing I did think was crazy about this game is, one, they have all these mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
But then the modes. What the fuck is DK Artist mode doing in this game?
Yeah.
There's like, hey, we know that we put a mouse on the Switch too. Well, now you can use it. And you can craft from stone all these terrible, somewhat chunky looking sculptures. They look great.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to see how many of them are going to just be dick and balls. Like,
oh, God, I didn't even think about it.
Oh, dude, when they were putting the the
faux
hawk on, I was like, that's going to be a dick.
Damn.
On day one.
I wonder if you're going to be able to share them. Like in the game, will you be able to go and see other people's creations? Because I would like that.
Yeah, I would love that. But yeah, I thought that mode was so weird to just throw in, but it's so Nintendo. Yeah. It reminds me of Mario.
Yeah, it's back. It's like face. Mario. Yeah, Mario 64, right? Where you could fuck with his face.
The other thing too that was crazy is they were like, "We're not done with the Switch features. Here's Game Share."
Mm-hmm.
What is this Game Share? Because so I understand the Game Share from like a Switch 2 to a Switch 2, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. You can play co-op mode, but you can also do that to a normal Switch. So if you've got like a niece, nephew, child, or friend that just hasn't moved on to the Switch 2, you can be like, hey, bro, you want to be Pauline? You can play it on your Switch 1 from my Switch 2. Yeah. And I think that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's such a cool thing for them to include. I'm not going to use it probably unless like I play with my niece and she's like, I really want to be Pauline.
Mm-hmm.
More power to her. I would be happy, but... I'm just like, I can't believe you guys are doing this.
Yeah, I wonder how it's gonna run. Like, I'm hoping it runs well on like when you put it on the Switch 1.
Mm-hmm. I know it's streamed, so it's just like that. But I mean, you're interacting with it too, because you're shooting.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. If it works really well, which I hope it does, that is just such a cool. It's a cool thing for families, especially too. Especially if you have a little brother, little sister.
If you have a kid, like that would be so much fun to play with my kid. Because seeing the like they did with Cappy, the second player can control the partner. I really do like the way that they control Pauline, and it's like a shooter game.
I was gonna say I actually really like how they're doing it with Pauline, because Cappy, I tried to play that with my niece. She got bored so quickly because Cappy's just not. He doesn't do anything. Really, other than be like a platform for Mario to jump off of.
Yeah.
But Pauline is always stuck to DK, but with a cursor. But the thing is like they make it to where you can absorb elements from the environment. So like if you want her to have explosive words instead of just sound waves, you can take gold from like a gold rock, and then now her words will be gold and explode.
Yeah.
And I think that's just... It's more engaging for the second player, and I find that to just be a much better implementation of what they've done so far.
All it tells me is that Kid Icarus is right around the corner.
Yes, I would love that. But yeah, other than that, they really just showed a lot of the game. It looks gorgeous, and honestly, July 17th can't get here faster,
man. I wish it came out sooner. I'm pretty excited for it.
I was gonna say, as one final note before we close this and then and go to break, what do you think of this game coming out later? Because one of the big discussions I've seen about this game is like, why Mario Kart at launch? Why not this?
It should have been swapped.
They should have been swapped.
It should have been swapped.
I agree.
But Mario Kart is gonna probably sell more units.
Oh, so Mario Kart's always going to outsell. I mean, it outsold Mario Odyssey like 3-1. No one beats Mario Kart. That is true. But the Switch 1 launched with Zelda, and then Mario Kart 8 came out pretty much like how Bonanza's coming out, about a month and a week or two after. So I'm like, I feel like, because I do see a bit of negativity towards Switch 2 for only having Mario Kart World.
Yeah.
And I understand that, because if I didn't have my back library, this would have sucked. I would have stopped playing my Switch about 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, I play Pokemon more than I play anything.
Yeah, exactly. And so I do think it's weird that they chose to do that, chose to mix them. Because I think Mario Kart World would have sold just as good as it is if it swapped the release dates.
Yeah.
But I do also wonder, because there's a little bit of like, at least from previews, there's like some frame drops and stuff in Donkey Kong.
Maybe they have.
I do wonder if they're
polishing.
just polishing.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo's known for that. That they have no problems pushing a game just to make it tighter. But yeah, that's gonna be it for Donkey Kong Bananza. We will return right after this break with our language-defining game. And welcome back to our next section, which is the language-defining games. And if I'm stuttering a little bit, it's because I normally don't do this section. But I'm doing it because it's Troy's turn. He is the one who has brought a game. What game you bringing?
So in the vein of the rare nostalgia that I got, and I'm not talking about like rare as in not often, but the rare game development studio feeling I got from watching the Donkey Kong Direct, I decided to bring a game that was near and dear to my heart that I wanted to play so bad because my friends had it. I wasn't allowed to have it, and then I finally got it. I had to sneak it and play it when nobody was looking. Conker's Bad Fur Day. That, talk about a gem of a 64 game.
I always remember that game because it was in the mature section of Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I never got to rent it.
Yeah. If you've never played it, you got to play Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I have been waiting with bated breath for them to finally add it. When they added the Nintendo 64 17, like the mature ones, I was like, oh, Conker. And it's just Perfect Dark and Turok. But I'm holding out. I want to see Conker on there because I want to play it.
Yeah.
I've always seen like people talk about it, and now you're bringing it as a language-defining game.
Yes.
I'm over here still Conkerless.
It was my first experience into a mature game. My very first experience in a game that was definitely not made for kids.
Now, we got to ask the real question. What age were you when you finally played it?
I don't remember. What year did it come out?
It was a 2000 game.
2000. So
we were like 9 or 10.
9 or 10. I had to have been. It had to have been out for like 2 years, maybe. So I was like 12, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
12-year-old playing this M-rated raunchy game.
Raunchy as hell, man.
How'd you feel when you played it?
Dirty. No, but to kind of go on it, so I had to re-up myself on like the summary to remember exactly what happened in the story, because I played Conker's Bad Fur Day originally on 64. Played through it just to see the plant as a kid. Mm-hmm. That's about it. But then I played it again on Xbox Live and Reloaded, and so I remember playing that game for the first time and thinking to myself, I'm a drunk, deadbeat squirrel with a big old cute bunny rabbit girlfriend who got stolen to be a leg of a chair or something, and I got to go get her back. Actually, I don't even think I was going to get her back. I think I was just getting money. I think Conker just wanted money, and he's a little shit. Yeah,
he looks like a little shit in this game.
Yeah, he's an absolute little shit.
Okay, well, to find out what makes it so special to you, I want to ask you the breakdown questions.
Yeah.
So first off, you've already touched on it a little bit. What is it about the story of this game that made an impact on you?
So I think it was just the outlandishness of it. So Conker is kind of like, he's like Deadpool. He fourth wall breaks. He's just kind of like does random ridiculous stuff. You go into almost everything is a reference, essentially. Mm-hmm. There's
yeah, it doesn't start with like a Matrix.
Yeah, there's like a Matrix stage. There's Saving Private Ryan, the beach sequence. It's Saving Private Ryan, right, with the explosion and like somebody walking by, like, oh, where's my arm, type shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just a referential game. So really, the story wasn't the characters journey that was attractive to me. It was what type of weird stuff am I going to get into, and what is it going to be like an homage to that's going to blow my mind. And yeah, that's like the whole game.
You know what? Then that perfectly segues into the next pillar, I think, of a language-defining game, because this one doesn't sound like the narrative was great, but with all these references, how was the visuals?
The visuals?
Like, how did you feel when you first played it?
It's a classic-ass game. That much I'll say. So in the time, I actually think that it was a good-looking game.
Yeah.
I think that I think I was first attracted to the animation on his tail, if I remember correctly, and just the animations on different creatures in the game. You know, you had the giant poop monster who had corn for teeth. He was ridiculous. You had the big booby fucking plant lady who was ridiculous, and then the whole bee sequence it taught me the bird and the bees, which was weird. You had there was just visually it was outlandish, so everything about it was pretty cool to me. I think one of the more striking visuals too was not really within the game, but the box art, I think it was, of Conker sitting on the throne with the crown, just like a bad squirrel. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say this game actually came out near the end of the N64's lifetime, so its graphics were quite a bit more like experienced. And I say that as like games near the end, like Majora's Mask and Banjo-Tooie and Donkey Kong 64, they have much better animation and much better like textures, just because developers were better equipped. So it's cool that it stuck out.
Yeah.
Well, especially the box art. That's what I remembered. He has a beer. I
Yeah,
remember he's always got a beer in his hand, and I'm just like, the squirrel drinks fucking beer?
Yeah,
what the hell?
You start off at the, like, if I remember correctly, the game starts off, you're at a pub drinking, you leave, you're hungover, and you get lost in a world. Like, that's it. You get lost in a world after drinking, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess that's...
Oh, so it is as bad for a day.
Yeah,
You really did just have, like, a bad hangover.
Yeah, you had a bad hangover.
All right. Well, the next pillar is music.
Yeah.
Did the music stick out to you in this game, or like the sound design or anything?
I can't remember a single thing about how the game sounds. I remember it had like your typical like rare type of music. I don't remember too much of the music being anything special, except for not that it wasn't special, but nothing that stood out to me in that era. I think I remember like the big poopy monster song being like gross and like farty sounding or something like that, just gross trumpets. But that's about the only thing I remember when it comes to the music in that game.
I always just, whenever I hear that, like, poop and music, I always just think of Rajang from Monster Hunter. How they'll just have random, like, farts in the soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Like, you didn't have to do that on the mic.
Sorry.
I think that's a sound that's better in description than imitation.
Well, on to the next pillar, since the music sounds standard fare here. How was the gameplay of this game? This is actually the thing I'm most excited to hear
so
about.
The gameplay was really fun. There was so many different types of gameplay. From your Matrix stage, where you're doing like slow-mo dodging and whatnot. You've got the Saving Private Ryan stage, like I was saying before. It's just like an all-out war stage. You had great platforming. He was, if I remember correctly, he just had like a melee weapon that he would hit people with. But it was mainly about all the different like unique experiences that you went through when you would go through these like I want to say like scripted events, right?
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there a first-person mode? Like, doesn't it become a first-person shooter at some point?
I think so. I definitely remember first-person shooting in Live and Reloaded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Live and Reloaded like?
It's just an Xbox remake of the game.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I believe Live and Reloaded adds the multiplayer mode.
That might be what I'm thinking. The first person stuff.
Yeah, because there's a multiplayer mode that's fairly robust. So you've got like multiple different game modes in the multiplayer mode. It's not just team deathmatch. You got that. You've got like capture the flag. You've got like I think like steal a bag of money type thing. There's like a bunch of different modes that you could play. My brothers didn't like the game as much as I did, so we didn't play the multiplayer very much. But you could play as all the different critters, is what we'll call them. So you weren't only Conker. I don't even think you were Conker. There's just a bunch of guys.
The squirrels versus the teddies.
Yeah. It was the squirrels versus the teddies. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen the death match, but I didn't know if it was in the N64 version or not. But yeah. So with those different like gameplay styles, were they fun? like to do?
Yeah. For the most part, what I got to play was fun. I primarily liked the main campaign, but the game modes were a fun way for me and my brothers to just, throw down a little bit, see some blood and gore, because, you shoot somebody with a sniper rifle, their head pops off and blood comes out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it was cool. There's something about that, like that combination of cute and gory that was always funny.
Yeah, it always reminds me of Happy Tree Friends.
Yes, very
When
much.
I first saw that show, I actually thought, I was like, oh, is this where Conker's from? No, he's from a very happy-go-lucky Game Boy game. That's a side-scroller. But yeah. Well, awesome. So I guess the only last question, what was the impact? What made this such a language-defining game?
I think that the impact was, it's a game that came in my formative years of like appreciating video games. First mature style game I played that was extremely raunchy and ridiculous. It was also a really good game from what I remember. And so it kind of set the standard for what my like platforming experiences would be. And the story just went in a wild place. There's like at the end of the game, spoilers, I guess, for anybody who hasn't played,
almost 30-year-old game.
Yeah. Like your whole goal is to get money. You get to the end, you like decide that, oh shit, my girlfriend's been stolen. I got to help her out. She dies, like you go home with nothing and you get drunk again. And you're just like, yeah,
wow.
I guess that's the game.
They killed your hot bunny girlfriend.
They killed your hot bunny girlfriend. And like you what is it? After they kill her, I think you do like this weird developer mode type thing where you like bring back like a weapon. I don't know. There's just dumb shit at the end of the game where you could have brought her back, but you didn't. And then she's dead and you just go back to drinking again. And you're just like, okay, Conker, you suck, but the game is fun. And so, yeah, it was just a game that was, it broke all my expectations and all my sort of like, what I thought a video game like a hero journey and everything had to be. It was just a goofy romp in a silly world. It was almost a parody of 3D platformers, but while also being a great 3D platformer.
Those are the best kinds.
Yeah.
When something's actually good at what it's making fun of.
Yeah. But yeah, I felt like, again, seeing the whole Donkey Kong and the way that it's being presented and that Rare vibe, I'm like, man, this takes me back to like Rare was something special. Like they still are, but man, like they had a stamp on my like me growing up and what the quality of games I really enjoyed.
I'll say I really miss their 3D platformer days.
Yeah,
they really were the kings of it.
Yeah,
right there with Nintendo. But yeah, well, thanks for bringing Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah,
for N64.
Play it if you haven't played it. Play it. Find a way.
We just need to find it. We need Nintendo to give it to us.
We can't emulate. We'll just watch videos.
We'll watch videos. All right. Well, you hear that? It's boss music. It's last boss time. And the topic for this episode, I feel, is in season. Because what I want to ask you, Troy, is what do you look for in a summer video game without naming a game? And after you've described that, like what needs to be what you're looking for when you're playing a game in the summer?
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know summer is vacation time. Usually big blockbuster games, they wait for fall, or they already came out in spring. No one likes the summer block for some reason.
Yeah.
But this is when I get a lot of my gaming time in, and a lot of people do too. I remember as a kid, just summer vacation was in front of my Xbox.
Yeah.
So, in your mind, when you're looking for a game to play for the summer, what game are you looking for?
Like what kind of game?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really big question because, things change multiple summers. Summer as an adult is very different than as a kid. So I'll have to go back, I think, to when summer was the most important to me. And what did I look for when that would happen? As soon as school was out, I'm off I jump off the school bus. I run in the house. I toss my backpack to the side, kick off my shoes. My mom yells at me. I go and I turn on my video game, and it's got to be like multiplayer shooter games. I got to get in chat, say what's up to the guys, and let's go like play something. And so it just takes me back to I don't know, I was like 13, 14 playing like Call of Duty and stuff like that. So yeah, it had to be it had to be first person shooters.
First person shooters?
Yeah, that was like the summer vibe, you know?
Was playing multiplayer first person?
Yeah.
I get it. No, that's actually, in honesty, kind of the same for me. Except maybe not, it doesn't always have to be first person for me, but I really do look for connected social experiences in summer. Like, I'm always looking for multiplayer game. A lot of times, this is when I play fighting games the most out of any time. Usually preparing for Evo in August. But even when that's not the case, there's just something about wanting to play with other people that feeling comes to me in summer. And so usually in summer, I'm like, okay, what game are we grinding this summer?
Yeah.
Like, what are we playing? And so for me, that's kind of like the only thing that's really required is that it needs to be fun and my friends need to be playing it.
Yes.
But mainly multiplayer, which I do find odd at how different it is to like the fall season.
Yeah.
Because around Thanksgiving, I'm like, I want RPGs. And
yeah,
I want
everybody's getting cozy.
games.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to touch multiplayer. Like that would ruin the Christmas season. The world tour would be ruined by multiplayer games in fall. But in summer, it's what they need to be.
I mean, you can't even play with them anyway because they're hanging out with their family and they're going to get in trouble if they hear you on chat yelling at your friends.
Exactly.
That's why you play your single player games.
Awesome. Well, now that we described what we want from a summer game without describing a game, what game to you personally is your favorite summer game
My
for you?
favorite summer game. That's tough. Trying to think. Probably. I'm trying to think of the happiest times I had with friends, and it's got to be Halo. Like I can only think of Halo. I remember I used to have my boy Bryce, my boy Ethan Dudash. Like we were just beating chat playing Halo. I remember I always would pick the cobalt color, like that was my color. Yeah, it'd have to be Halo. I can't remember which ones, but yeah, I think that's where it's at.
Nice. I was going to say for me, it's a little bit more recent, but I'd say my favorite summer game is probably Guilty Gear Strive.
Dang, yeah,
that came out June 11th, 2021, actually. Oof, it's been a minute. But I just remember that entire summer was spent just grinding the hell out of that game with you, my brother Devin, but our entire fighting group was playing Guilty Gear Strive when it came out. And I really loved it because we wouldn't only just play online, we played a lot at each other's houses. I remember playing at Spencer's. I remember playing at Tigo's. I remember hosting it at our house. It was just a fun time. That game, that was probably the last time that a game actually felt like a game of summer.
Yeah.
And it ended with us going on a summer vacation to Evo playing the game. So for me,
that's a good one.
Yeah, even though Street Fighter 6 is my favorite fighting game, I don't know if I had as good of a summer of gaming that I did with Guilty Gear Strive. That shit was intense.
I don't aside from when I was in my little my Smash Bros days, because I had a Smash group. That's why I wanted a fighting game group, because of that. And everybody was on Strive. Yeah. Everybody, and everyone was grinding as hard as they could, so that when we went to Evo, that we would be strong. And so, yeah, dude, that was a good time. We haven't had that again since Strive.
Yeah, no. Well, we had a little bit of it with Street Fighter 6, but it kind of weeded everyone out by the time Evo came out, because I think only me, you, B-Hop. I can't remember. Did Matt play Street Fighter 6 at Evo, compete in it? I think it was just you, me, and B-Hop.
Yeah.
Because, Spencer stuck with Strive.
Yeah.
Okay. But, either way, not as many people hopped on the Street Fighter 6 competitive drive, even though I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, everybody came in for Strive, and it was crazy.
They got to recapture that.
But, yeah. Well, that's going to do it for the final boss, the last boss. They've been defeated. Saved the damsel. I'm not going to say it's a princess or a prince. It's whatever. So now we're going to end with video game vocab before we get into final credits. And been doing these vocabs a lot, so you're going to start getting more obscure video game things. I went to the fighting game glossary to get this week's vocab, which is attack cancel. Now, this is specifically the Super Smash Brothers link to attack cancel. So if you ever hear someone when you're watching Smash Bros. And they're like, oh, we did an attack cancel, that's what this is talking about. So it is a Super Smash Brothers Ultimate technique where you Kara cancel. Hey, we had that as a description before too. You Kara cancel the startup of any grounded attack into a jump. For dash attack specifically, you can do a jump or a grab. These cancels aren't often used for added range like Kara cancels in other games, but rather they tend to be used to give you more control over your momentum. You can, for example, run forward and Kara cancel your dash attack into a jumping back air. This stops your forward momentum immediately and lets your attack cover more distance behind you than you could just by jumping normally out of your run. So it's a really fancy way of being able to stop on a dime.
Yeah, I need to learn that technique. I think that I get caught up in my run attacks and Ultimate a little too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they have Ultimate's crazy. I watched a video recently just commentating like a match, and I was just like, oh my God. I always forget how just in-depth Smash Bros. Is because it's such a simple game on surface.
Yes. But platform fighters, when you add physics into them, it's just like, it's a whole new level.
Yeah. But now, it's time for final credits. It's going to be your turn.
It's my turn today?
It is your turn. So, take it away.
All right. Give me a second. Let me pull that up. Dang. All right. It is time for final credits. This is the last part of the show where we give
you
30 seconds
uninterrupted
to say whatever your heart desires.
Be it salty,
sweet,
or say nothing at all.
The mic is yours.
Tell us what's on your mind. In 3, 2, 1.
I want everybody to close your eyes. And I just want you to go back to a moment in time, back when you were little, where you played a game for the first time and it just was like the best thing ever. I feel like we don't appreciate gaming like we used to. And it's just, we just got to take small moments to go back and remember those times when gaming really meant something. And just say, you know what? We'll get there again someday. Now open your eyes and go back to work.
Cut.
Game Language is recorded at Grizzly Voices Studios in Mesa, Arizona. Our producers are Jason Flynn and Troy Brown. Our intro music is our personal track, Penguin Symphony. Our outro music is Jump by Snail's House, also provided by Riot Music. Our editor and sound engineer is Adonis Shiflin.